No working?
Apparently not. So basically,
How can you spread out Nano? So many people have told me if you finish exploring the POS in the dashboard, I'm going to go personally to bars and just tell them, I want to come to you every single day if you accept Nano. It just gives them the tool to go around.
That's anyone here does the VCA. Like, they get to conference and they're like, we'll come if we can be VCA. We will host your hotel if we can do it in VCA. And hotel's like, oh, okay, fine. You know, it's just for like,
what about I think now it's getting better. It's better now?
Yeah, I think this is good. Hey, stream up.
Yeah. We're live now.
Okay. Cool. Do you want to show anything on the screen?
Yes, I would like to show the website.
Shiraga still unlock this one, I think.
Okay.
Oh, it's working?
Yeah, it's working. It's live. I saw you added some new stuff, right?
Yeah,
Excited.
the account session. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry. All right. Hey, folks, we have the next talk.
You're up?
Yeah, I'm up.
All right.
Thank you.
Let's go.
You can have a look at my T-shirt. All right, folks. Wait. Yeah. All right, everyone. Hello. My name is Enzo. I'm the creator of Standard, a website about nano analytics, nano network intelligence. So this presentation is improvised. So sorry that I didn't have a nice presentation like everyone else, but I was still wanted to talk a little bit about nano analytics. So what is this? So my idea was typically in crypto, the people that get interested in crypto are quite technical, and the conversation in Nano, rightfully so, is a lot about what are Nano's technical capabilities. For example, how fast is a transaction, how many transactions it can do. Many technical things are of course extremely important, but at some point, in my opinion, in the life of a cryptocurrency, there must be a shift from the technical stuff to more product analytics. So for example, how many people are actually using Nano on a day-to-day basis, right? How useful is it? How much money is being through it in fiat value? Because we still live in a fiat world. And so my idea was to maybe do a little bit of research, do some analytics to investigate some of these characteristics of Nano. So first, maybe you can go to, maybe you can scroll down a little bit first. So basically, a little bit more? Yeah, so basically my idea was to, at least for now, divide this information in 3 dashboards. We have one related to transactions, another one related to accounts, and the final one, which is still not available, networks. So transactions is about, for example, how much Nano gets exchanged between different accounts in a given unit of time, how much new accounts or unique accounts transact, and what are the buckets that people are transacting in. Then accounts is essentially information about the balances in each account, how many transactions per account, and so on and so forth. And the network is, when this comes out, the intention is to have a whole graph representing everything that is going out on in the Nano network over the last, let's say, 30 days. And each account is a node, and each send transaction is an edge. So that way you can see, for example, you can investigate which are the central accounts, typically exchanges, or how is money moving around and going through all the different accounts. So really interesting stuff, essentially. So maybe we can take a look at the first dashboard, the transactions. It's a bit slow. It's okay.
You can do so many Nano transactions in this time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if it's if it's a website or it's a connection. It's internet, right? I mean, this is all running on a free tier of web service, so it could be a bit slow also, right? All right, there we go. So maybe you can go down a little bit. So a bit more, a bit more, a bit more. Okay, cool. So my idea was to track the Nano price in different different currencies, right? Representing the fact that Nano can be a worldwide currency. And then we have 4 plots. So this one is the first one. And this is the total volume in fiat value. And depending on which currency you select, this can change. And so this is really nice to spot trends. Currently, we're a bit of a downtrend in fiat value, but if you go to the one day view there, so we can see like a longer term pattern, right? And it's interesting to see what is the volume that gets exchanged. Of course, this is a bit biased because if you're a whale, you have a lot of Nano and you just send Nano from one account to the other one, this will go really high, you know, and given that there is no fees, you could really mess this up if you want to. So, but still, you know, you have the median and the average, so that helps you spot the trend over time. So this is in fiat value, and obviously it hasn't been great this year overall, so it's trending downwards. But if we see it in absolute Nano volume, it's you know, fairly consistent with a slight uptrend, because I guess we're in a small mini bull market right now. So and maybe even Danshat is helping with that, because I think I've seen some more transactions going on since Danshat got released. So this is like one, right? But then if you go down, you have the confirmations over time, which is also really interesting because so this is the total amount of send transactions in the network, and this gives you other type of information than just the volume. And if you go down again, you have the unique accounts, right? So this has been fairly consistent. And if you go to the 1 hour view, so we can see that we have these peaks every day. So this is thanks to gravity, yeah. So he's basically pumping our stats. But yeah, this is why you have the median, which is very useful and to see the trends. So this one down here is another plot which is really interesting, and this is the transactions based on the buckets they fall in, right? So I guess most of you know that Nano has a spam prevention system where each transaction gets bucketed, and this tells you how many accounts belonging to each bucket are transacting at any given time. Most of the time, it's small accounts with small balances, but every once in a while you see like whales moving their funds, right? But so it's another view. It's interesting to see, And also, I think this is a property of Nano, which it's fairly easy to understand and fairly easy to work with. So you can get these kind of statistics and make sense of what's going on in the network, right? And it's not something like, I don't know, I'm not super knowledgeable in all crypto networks, of course, but for example, taking the example of Bitcoin, where you have to check the unspent transaction outputs going back all the way to the beginning of the blockchain. You know, it's really hard to make sense of what's going on. But with Nano, it's fairly simple, right? So you can get some cool statistics. So maybe we can go to the new dashboard, the accounts. That one also has some interesting information. It's going to take a little bit. All right, so just a heads up, frontend is not my strength. This is all thanks to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever. But okay, this should be loading. This should have loaded by now, I think. Maybe. Let me see. Ah, yeah, okay. Okay, so basically some interesting stats, right? 37 million accounts that have either emitted an open, send, or receive block. I mean, this is not a lot, I think, right? So it's quite interesting to see. So 25 million with a balance larger than 0, at least one raw. 6.3 with at least 1 cent. 60,000 almost receive only, and this is how much Nano is in accounts with less than 1 Nano in balance, right? So interesting to see. So if we go down a little bit, so this plot tells us how many transactions have been made by different accounts based on their balance, right? So we have most accounts have made have a balance of less than 1 Nano and have done between 2 and 10 transactions, right? So this makes sense. This is people who are just trying out Nano or just making small transactions, so that makes a lot of sense. No, this is 0 here. If you hover over here, you will see that there's no account that has more than 1 million Nano and has made only 1 transaction. So I guess, yeah, at the end of the day, it's worth something, right? And then, you know, you have like the whole spectrum, but basically, I guess the ones over here are mostly exchanges. This is around, it's like 1 to the 123. It's like how much, more or less? It's, I don't know, like 10 or, well, it's you can take a look afterwards, right? This is in log scale. So if we go to the next one, to the next plot. So this one, the intention with this plot is to see how many people are changing their representative, right? So this is very interesting because we see, so what I did here was, okay, I'm only gonna look at 66% of the total supply in my database, right? Maybe I'm taking only 82 million, so maybe it's slightly less, but this is what I have in my database, right? And I'm looking at 344 accounts, and I'm checking, okay, how many of them are changing their representatives? So what I found was that we have 27% never changed them, never changed their rep. So basically whatever was set, this is what they used. And then we have like the whole spectrum, and but of course a big chunk of people, they don't change their rep that often. I mean, which makes sense, right? Because if you're an exchange, you set your rep to your own server, and then maybe you don't change it that much. But then we have you know, accounts over the whole spectrum, commanding different amounts of well, fairly large amounts of Nano. But it's interesting to see, right? The percentage is how much of the 82 million they command, the total in Nano, and how many accounts. So just a view to see how much how many rep changes are happening in the network. Something very important for us. So if we go down a little bit more, we have this table, which is really interesting. So what I did was I divided all the accounts in these categories, which are easy to remember: shrimps, fish, penguin, seal, dolphin, shark, and whale, based on how much nano they have. So it's if you have less than 0.971, I mean, the shrimp. If less than 10, fish, penguin, whatever. I don't know. I just something easy to remember, fun. That's it. And then you have the stats. So for example, how many accounts in total? We have 24, almost 25 million shrimps and only 164 whales. And how much balance is held by each tier? The average balance, and then some stats. For example, the maximum amount in the whale tier is the maximum balance is 8 million, and the median is 210,000, right? And then you have the same for each tier. So it's good to know more or less, what scale of nano each tier is working with, right? And so if we go down a little bit more. So this one was interesting. I had a lot of interest for this graph when I posted it the first time. And this is how much each tier changes in total amount of nano held over time, right? So this is since 2023. And you see the evolution of each tier, right? Here you have the different colors. For example, blue is the whale, pink is the shark. And then, so here I made some conclusions and some comments that what we would like to see in a world where nano is more widely adopted is the number of whales to decrease. That means that the nano gets spread out more, and that you have smaller accounts, let's say dolphins and seals, having something between, 1,000 and 5,000 nano, that the number of accounts that have this property increase. So in my opinion, this is a signal that nano is getting more widely adopted, right? If you get concentration into just a few whales and sharks, it's people who probably just have a lot of money and they want to, just speculation, making some money and stuff, which is okay. But obviously, if we want to create a worldwide currency out of nano, then we need smaller players participating and being represented. So here we see that also this is interesting because we see some correlations. Sometimes when the whale amounts increase, the sharks decrease. So you could interpret this as when the total amount of nano goes to the whales, the sharks put their money in exchanges, and maybe they want to start trading to make some money. And when they cash out, they take back their nano, and the share in whales decreases, and so on and so forth. So you could see some interesting patterns here, right? Obviously, it's hard to draw conclusions from this, but it's good to have some hard data to see what's going on. And also, it's hard to gather data from nano because there's no one authoritative ledger, right? It's like I start my own notes and I will start timestamping the transactions that I see, and those timestamps are different from the timestamps of any other node out there. So when we see this data, it's it's one snapshot, right? And this comes from Gravity's ledger, by the way, with my own node added after, I don't know, like last year or something, but it's from the Nano, the ledger in the Nano Discord. So if we go down a bit more, so we have a few more plots. So this one is interesting. This one is the top 1,000 accounts. So we see that here we have, this is kind of exponential. So we have like a long tail of sharks from 10,000 going upwards, and then when we hit around almost 10k, 100k, sorry, it starts going up quite quickly, and then here I guess we have exchanges with a lot of balance. So if we go down, this one is an attempt at seeing how much Nano is being used every day compared to the historical. This is a comparison of each day how much is used over the last 30 days compared to the last year. This one I don't like too much. Maybe I would change this, so maybe we can just go down. But it's just an attempt at knowing how much Nano is being used. So this one is how much Nano. So each account has a balance, and depending on when that account made a send transaction, I record their balance here, right? So this means that accounts holding a total of 29 million Nano transacted over the last month, and here 6 million over the last 2 months, and so on and so forth, right? So this is a picture to see who's using Nano and how much of the Nano supply they command, right? So here we can see that, for example, 32 million Nano never made a send transaction. So they just receive money, maybe a cold storage wallet or whatever, and they never made a transaction. Then another big chunk is in haven't made a transaction in 3 years. So it's a lot. And then you have the whole spectrum. But again, this is useful to see how it's being used and what's going on in the network, right? And then if we go to the last chart, this one is quite interesting. This one, it's a lot of information, right? So we have the tiers, and we have let's say, a percentage and a total number of accounts. And this graph basically is trying to say, okay, how much is the network being used by each tier, right? And this is activity coefficient that basically goes down the longer you spend without using Nano. And if your account is new, this goes down even faster. And what we see is that, something that is fairly, makes a lot of sense, is that the ones using Nano the most are the whales, because obviously they have a large supply. So you can see that here it's way more green, and the people who basically use Nano once and then never again are the shrimp. Basically one account, one transaction, you use it once and then you forget about it, and then you have the whole spectrum, right? And for each tier, you can see how much is being used, right? So there's a fairly big portion of whales who don't make much use of Nano, and then around 30 accounts use it a lot, quite continuously, and similarly for the higher tiers, right? So it's just a way of visualizing the activity in the network by tier. So this is basically what I have for now. The next step would be the graphs dashboard, which will allow us to see more of each account. And my idea is to create, let's say, a database or something that people can use to investigate, okay, which accounts have made big transactions, which ones are new, which ones are old, which ones, visualize that in a graph, and being able to understand the network a little bit better, and just figure out stuff about it. So basically that's it, and I hope you liked it, and if you have any questions, let me know. All right, cool. Thank you.
So this data, how did you access it? Did you directly touch LMDB data, or because there are no RPC commands for this, right?
Yeah. So I actually have a pretty big pipeline to get this data.
Exactly.
And I have to code a lot. Accessing LLD. So I made an app, or I made a little program to read data from the nodes, I just query the node APIs.
Okay.
You know, right? Instead of reading LMDB directly.
Okay.
Because I said, okay, I'm gonna go for LMDB directly, but it was too complicated. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna go for the nodes, and then I have an app that continuously queries the node and dumps this into a SQL database, and then I read it from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's cool. And what's the maximum amount of the time period that you can see? Because we saw it like 7 days. Can it be even longer? Or like a year or all time?
But what do you mean by
Like the graphs that you were showing?
So in the previous ones, the maximum period is 3 years and a half or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because the problem is that since so Nano, today we're celebrating Nano's 10th year anniversary, right? But we don't have ledgers from back then. The oldest we have is like five years ago. So when I'm processing the data, it's like 50% of the blocks were produced around 2019 in my ledger, right? And so basically, it's if we don't have the ledgers from those times, that data is irrecoverable.
It's the timestamp that you need.
Yeah,
That's
the
most
timestamp,
important.
exactly.
Okay.
We don't have it. So my cutoff period is like 3 years, right? So we don't have the prices of Nano's biggest bull markets. Will be interesting to see, right? But I think that this also tells us that maybe there's a big opportunity for pruning because, you know, I mean, do we really need to know what happened back then, you know, in the ledger, right? I don't know.
How the data is updated? Is it every day or in real time?
Well, the transactions dashboard updates every 5 minutes as data comes in, and this one updates daily.
Is it a €4 Hetzner server doing all the hard work?
Sorry, what?
Is it a €4 Hetzner server doing all the hard work?
No, I just have a bunch of Raspberry Pis in my home. So and one server, one decent server for my database, and then just a couple of Raspberry Pis and my node is in a Raspberry Pi. Well, it's actually not Raspberry. It's a Chinese. It's called Ratsa. It's like a Raspberry Pi, but better hardware, you know. But I mean, this is definitely something I do for fun, you know. But it's been quite interesting, also. Yeah.
But it will be able to, like, we can query this data later, and then the whatever account funds something on our services, we can tell whether they historic Nano enthusiasts or something like that, and reward them on the services that we do based on this.
Oh,
so
could be.
That's what I'm reading out from this, like right there.
Could be
you
an
can see that
opportunity.
you actually moved a lot of Nano funds, like past years and whatever, and you hold this much Nano. So we maybe credit you with a different discount code, right?
Oh, yeah. Interesting, yeah, could be. So I have different. Obviously, I have in my database I have a lot of tables. One table is the accounts table, which basically has an overview of each account I see, right? And I keep track of how many times they changed the rep, how many transactions they made. First block I saw from them, so I take that as the birth of that account. So there's a lot we can say about each account, right? So yeah, who knows? Maybe one day I open this API or I just put this data out there. Why not? Exactly. Yeah. So for the next dashboard, I created something called importance scores, right? And then you have and then on all the transactions made on a 30-day basis, I assign importance scores to each account. And for example, I say, okay, I score the maximum transaction sent by each account, right? And I order that from 0 to the maximum, and then I assign importance scores. And this in many categories, and then with that I create a score for each account for the last 30 days. And based on that, you can select nodes or select accounts based on their importance scores, and and based on what you want to see, you can prioritize one importance score over the other. When one could be, okay, I want to see what are the oldest accounts, that is one important score, and you can maximize that, and you will see in the graph those nodes bigger, right? So you can select on what you want, what you're interested in. Just some ideas. Yeah. Cool. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, that's it. Oop. Oh, fuck.
Gauri, you sure? You don't want to start? What's the story? No? Oh, okay. Yeah?
I think we're good, right?
Yeah,
Or do
yeah,
you want
we
me to
ended.
do closing remarks?
Yeah, just do closing remarks. Something about.
Or do Colin want to do like some closing remarks?
What are your... I didn't have any. Just Aki built it on.
You can just shout and do it.
Yeah, all right. Everyone, thanks for joining the stream. People. Yeah, thank you so much for coming, everyone. I'm really happy that we have such a nice big group here, and so many Nano enthusiasts, and also so many people here that are building with Nano. It's just amazing to see. So thank you, everyone, and thanks for watching the stream as well. And,
Yeah, thanks for organizing, man.
yeah, no problem.